Hi guys, Jordan Meterick here from sermongear.com. Just wanted to welcome you and say thanks for downloading the brand new pre-service power pack. Now the goal of this is to give you a customizable way to inform the congregation during that relatively awkward moment before the countdown starts. Some people come in early and there's just nothing up on the screens. So this is a great way to show off your announcements, to tell people to follow you on Twitter, tell them to turn their cell phones off, all that kind of stuff that happens before service starts. Now this is entirely customizable, so I'm going to show you exactly how to do that. As soon as you download it, you should have 24 different still images and 8 animations. So some of these animations here, they're pretty cool little 3D renders. And all of them come pre-transitioned, so you don't have to worry about creating any transitions. You can literally just edit these all together and they completely come in ready to go. Here's a little Easter egg here. Lobby coffee, for some of you people who think church coffee isn't all that great. We're gonna change the status quo. Lobby coffee, better than it sounds. Some people might not catch that, but you will, because you're awesome. So this is a pretty cool moment too. This little splash coffee. So this is a good way to remind people, hey, don't spill coffee in the sanctuary or the pastor will, charge you twice as much for tithe. That's just a joke. Okay, so let's crack into this. I just want to show you guys how you can edit this down and create your own customizable set of announcements. Now the thing is you can actually do this inside of your worship presentation software, ProPresenter, Easy Worship, etc. But it's a little bit harder. I'm going to show you a really easy way to do this, and it's a way that you can just bring in an entire movie into ProPresenter or Easy Worship, whatever it is that you happen to use. Instead of editing that every week, most of these things aren't going to change. So, for example, just to show that you guys have children's ministry available, that won't change week to week. So you can just play this stuff straight through and bring in just a different movie. But then again, it's totally customizable, so that's up to you. What we're going to do is, instead of using our worship software, we're going to go ahead and edit this into a little movie. And so there's a lot of different ways you can do that. If you have a Mac, you've already got iMovie installed. If you are on a PC, unfortunately, you have Windows Movie Maker, which you can use. It's just awful. What I'd recommend is picking up something a little bit better. There's a couple free editors online. There's one called AVS that you can install, and that's free. I'm going to go ahead and use Premiere Pro. There's a cheaper version of this called Premiere Elements 10, and you can just go to adobe.com and download that straight there. But we're going to go ahead and get started here. I'm just going to show you how to do it inside here, but the rules are straight across the same on any video editor that you're going to create. So with this here, let's go ahead and start a new project. We'll call this pre-service. Great. So as soon as you unzip your entire download, you'll have a ton of stuff you can pick from. Today we'll just focus on a couple so that you can get the gist of this. Let's just go ahead and pick, let's do Facebook. We'll bring that guy in. We'll start with the good morning, and let's of course do our Twitter, because following Twitter is awesome. And we'll do our upcoming events. So again, you've got 8 of these to choose from, and you can just have these loops straight through. So say you pick 5 of them that you like and you want to customize those one week, great. So you just render out a file of this, and you're good to go. And then just loop that video straight through. So let's go ahead and start with good morning. All I did is drag those into the little preview bin here. I'm going to assume that you know a little bit about your particular video editing software. And I just want to show you exactly how easy this is. Okay, so good morning. Go ahead and drop that guy in there. There's actually no audio, so it's you can choose whatever kind of music you want. It starts with a white screen, and you can see that it comes in. It says good morning, and we've got about 30 seconds of this. It's also a great time killer if you're, say some people come in 20 minutes ahead of time, that can get pretty boring. So we can make their wait a little more interesting. That's okay. So we'll start with good morning, and then we'll say, hey, let's have them check out our Facebook. So we have this pre-transition. So right from good morning, it's going to move right into the Facebook, which It says find us on Facebook, swishes around, very cool. And then at that moment here, it's got a little search bar. So that's where we're going to start to customize things. We can hit the plus key to zoom in a little bit, or you can just twirl this little guy down here. Good. Just zoom in a little bit to the moment right where the search bar comes in. Okay, great. And at least in Premiere, we can just go ahead and click this little button here, new item, and add a title to this, which is just a still title, and we'll just call this Facebook. It's going to be different, of course, if you're in iMovie, etc., but it's totally up to you. So go ahead and click this here. We'll use Helvetica because that's a cool font. And let's just say search facebook.com/ we'll do ours, Sermon Gear. Okay. So this you would customize for yourself, and we can just kind of scale this down a little bit, bring it on over, and just make it fit right inside this box. What's nice is that this box doesn't move at all, so you don't have to do any animation at all. You just fit exactly what you want to say. Maybe we'll darken up just a little bit so that you can see it a little bit better. Great. And then we can kind of see what that looks like there. Awesome. So we'll close out of our titler and bring our Facebook still text image in there, and we can open this up a little bit so that we can add a couple keyframes. Let's go. So we've got that the little search bar pops up. So that's at the beginning. Let's go to the end where it begins to disappear. Let's see, it disappears right about there. Okay, great. And we'll just go ahead and drag this all the way open so that for the entirety of the clip, wherever the video is at, this is going to stay live. So people can jump on their cell phones right there and check you out on Facebook. Great. I'm just going to hold down Control and add a couple keyframes here. These are going to help us fade in and out our clip. So just if I Control click right on this yellow line, that's going to add a keyframe which stores information for this moment in time. And again, this isn't a high-level editing overview, but we'll go ahead and add another one here just real quick, and that's going to allow this to fade in. So this text is going to fade in, as you can see there. Great. And then towards the end, we'll do the same thing. Control click on that line to add a keyframe, and another one right about there. Great. And I drag that down, and that's going to allow it to fade out. See, so that fades out, and then it's going to fade into the next guy. Great. So that took us about 60 seconds, and we're good to go. Another way to do that, just go ahead and type in fade or dissolve, whatever effect you'd like to do to your titles. We'll just go ahead and add, say, like a cross dissolve there. Well, then it's going to do the exact same thing as that fade in. So you don't have to do any keyframes or anything. If you have just like a fade in tool, an iMovie or something like that, you can just do it that way. Okay, great. Now let's add our third one. Let's do Twitter. Cool. So let's add that guy there. It fades into the Twitter automatically, so you don't have to do any transitioning. You don't have to do any animating at all. You don't have to be an editing pro by any means. You're just good to go. Let's go ahead and I'll just duplicate this this title right here, or we can just go ahead and start another do another title if you want. I can just hit Control copy, Control paste, Control C and V is how you do that there. And if I open up this other one, I will go ahead and change that to just Sermon Gear. So great, I'll select that and put it right there. So now it's showing at Sermon Gear, which is our Twitter tag. Follow us, I'll follow you back. Okay, and let's go ahead and go to the moment where that pops up, which is right about there. And I'll just go ahead and line up my clip, and you can see exactly how easy this is. I mean, you could do this for all 8 of these clips if you wanted. We'll find the very end of it where it starts to fade out, which is right about there. Great, and I'll drag it all the way over, and we can go ahead and add these dissolves to the front and back of the text clip, and that will allow it to fade out. Great, so let's just take a look from the Facebook one. So this is what everyone will be seeing. We have Facebook/Sermon Gear, fades into Twitter, this cool little 3D renders, and then it'll pop up our Twitter handle. Awesome. So then our very last one here, let's go ahead and add upcoming events. Good. And this one here is kind of just a cool party particle thing going on for upcoming events. Pops open this little white screen. Okay, great. And we can do the same thing again. I'll just go ahead and duplicate that title there for the sake of the tutorial. You'll just want to add a different title or text, whatever it is that's based on your software. Line it up at the beginning of right where this kind of frosty white screen comes in, and line it up there. Okay, and I can double click on that to open it up and do some editing. Again, it all depends on what software you're using, but I know that at least in Premiere Pro and Premiere Elements, all you have to do is double click a title and it will open that up. Double click the text itself, highlight it, and we can add upcoming events. So maybe we'll say men's breakfast. Let's change our text to something else. Next Friday. Okay, so we've got that guy. We can add a second announcement in there, and you can put whatever you want in here. That's the beauty of this thing. You can add literally whatever you want. If you want to put in pictures or anything you want, totally up to you. Let's say fishing trip canceled. Very good. Maybe the pastor didn't want to get embarrassed because there's a better fisherman than him going on the trip. Okay, so that guy's good there. You can add as many as you want there. You can actually use multiple, what we call these right here slates. This little upcoming events and these Twitter and Facebook animations. We're just calling these slates. So you'll take your slate and animate anything you want on top of that. Let's go to the very end where the little guy fades out, the little white box. Great. And extend that all the way over, and of course we can just add our fade in and fade out for our text. Very good. Let's take a look. And there it is. It is unbelievably simple to customize this stuff. It'll take you 10 minutes to do. You can do it every week if you want. You could even just throw these slates right into your video or your worship software and add a title on top of that. Just use it as a background. So now let's go ahead and render this guy out so we can bring it into our presentation software. I just definitely want to make sure that my timeline work zone is what this little top guy here is. I can just drag it all the way over to the very end. You can bring in music if you'd like to, and you'll just drop it on the little audio track, and that's good to go. Or you can just control it yourself within the audio booth. We'll go down here, make sure we're clicked inside of our little timeline, and you can kind of get a little bit of a view of what is happening here. Make sure that you check all of your edits to make sure the timing is right. And we'll go down to File, Export, Media. And in Premiere Elements, I know instead of going to File, Export, you want to go over to Share, which is in the right-hand side. So once you have all of your settings ready to go, you can certainly export it at 720, or you can move it all the way down to 480, depending on your projector settings, and go ahead and export that. Of course, you don't have to use videos at all if you don't want to. You can just use these still images. These are all JPEGs in full screen and widescreen that you can just use as slides in your worship software. And there's a couple different variations included in there that you can use and put titles on top of that if you want. That's totally up to you. And of course, you can customize these as much as you want and change them all around and use them for a very long time. So hopefully this has been a very big help to you. Feel free to contact me. You can just click this button up here to email me through sermongear.com, and I'd be happy to help you out with any questions you have. In the meantime, we're going to start working on the Pre-Service Power Pack 2. So let us know what you think, and we will talk to you next time.